thank you for being here today. My name is Kristen. Very nice to meet you.
Dakota.
Nice to meet you. Okay. Well, first off, I'd like to start off by saying thank you both for being here today. As I had mentioned before, my name is Kristen Lucien. I've been meeting for about 10 years now. And we have Dakota and then Sam here as well. If you guys would like to be called something else during this mediation, go ahead and say so. No? Okay. Okay. So it is my understanding that both of you have come here to come to an agreement and are both here willing to. If we're all here in good faith, then I believe that both of you will come to an agreement at the end of this meeting. I have been asked to come to this mediation, so therefore I have authorized to be here, but I'd like you both to know that to understand this process, it's completely voluntary, so you have the option to withdraw at any time. It's also voluntary to come to an agreement, so just keep that in mind as well during this process. But before we begin, I'd like to inform you both on how the process works. So anything that is discussed during this mediation is completely confidential, which means that statements that are made during this mediation or any notes that I make or comments or suggestions, whatever, it cannot be used in court or outside of this room, so in terms of agreement will not be exposed to others as well. And any notes that I make during this time, they will be discarded when the session is over. So I do have the agreement form for mediation here. So if I could have you both sign here on the bottom, just saying that you agree to the conditions and terms. I'll go ahead and start off with that. Awesome.
I bet.
It's okay.
More like the communications part.
It's okay. Thank you. Okay. So now that we have all that squared away, I'd like to inform you guys on what my role is as a mediator. So being in this role, I'm not a judge, arbitrator, decision maker, or any legal advisor. I'm just a neutralizer or neutral party here to help guide you both for the conversations of the mediation and to help come with some sort of agreement with conflict that you both are having. So I'm just here to assist, facilitate, and guide the negotiation to help break through the issues that you guys are having to come to reach a resolution. Before we continue, I'd also just like to make clear that I am not familiar with either one of you or have any further background or any previous relationships with either one of you. Do you both agree?
Yes.
Okay. So now that we've talked about the confidentiality part and then the neutralizing part of the mediation process, are you guys both comfortable with continuing?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and just start talking about the understanding the goals in the process of mediation. So basically, the goal is just to understand the disputed issues and explore any options for a mutual satisfactory agreement between the two of you. So it's very easy, and basically just first how it starts is that each of you are going to come propose your opening statement, which is an uninterrupted statement that each of you will give to me to explain what you're here for and why, and what the situation is and what's brought both of you here today, and the other party will go ahead and listen. So then next we'll go ahead and look at the concerns in detail about each of you are having and how it's impacted you. And then later, if I feel that's necessary, we will break up into what's called a caucus. So I'll have a conversation one-on-one with each of you individually. And whatever is said during that conversation, you can go ahead and share we can go ahead and share it during when we come back to a group meeting, or if you wish for me to not say anything, we go ahead and do that as well. And then when we come back together, we'll go ahead and make an agreement. And when the agreement has been made, I'll go ahead and write it down and record it. And you guys will go ahead and sign at the end. So like I said again, before, any statements or notes of anything that sort will be kept outside or be kept within this room. just feel free, if you feel that you need to take any breaks at all, just go ahead and let me know, and then we can go ahead and I could help guide of when it is appropriate time to take a break. If you guys have any questions or concerns during the process at all or anything, let me know, and then we can go ahead and move forward from there. But as a mediator, it is one of my roles to enforce some ground rules to help keep this discussion on track. So I will state that if you have any cell phones or any other devices, just go ahead and shut it off during this mediation process. Like I said before, if you have any questions about taking a break at all, then go ahead and let me know, so I'll know when it is a proper time to go ahead and take that break. But just basically, I mean, it'll be a casual conversation. Just be respectful, no interruptions. And then I think we'll go ahead and have a good mediation. So, are there any questions at all you guys have for me? Okay, perfect. So now let's go ahead and get started. Bless you.
Really?
Thank you.
Really, Sam? Really? Again?
You want Dakota?
Get tight. Okay.
Okay, so again, let's go ahead and start off with Dakota. Go ahead and just start off with your opening statement.
All right. My name is Dakota Gomez. I am 24 years old. I've been working with Time Clock Inc. for approximately 2 years now. Well, yeah, about 2 years. Been part of the sales department for the most part. I work with a lot of the customers. Honestly, I think I'm really good at what I do. I'm good with the sales and the marketing. I've always been really good with the communication. I was an English minor in college with a marketing major, so I have good background for it. I think one of my good qualities while I work with Time Clock Inc. is that I'm really good with the customers. I'm able to make that connection with them, and I think that I'm an asset to this company. And honestly, I don't know what the issue is with me and Sam, honestly. I get this idea that Sam just doesn't like me. Like, I do all this hard work. I feel that I'm a strong member of the team and that I'm just not getting proper acknowledgement of it, honestly. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're actually opening up another location in Northeast, and I think that'd be really good for that region. I actually requested that from Sam, and they actually want to put me in the Southwest Territory. And, you know, I'm not too keen on that, honestly, because I think that I don't think that I should be in the Southwest Territory. I feel that Sam's got it out for me for some reason. A couple of occurrences that happened, I went to a meeting with the rest of the employees and everything, and Sam kind of just had this weird reaction towards me and asked me to leave so that they could continue the meeting. I don't know what happened there. Mm-hmm. So that made me feel very uncomfortable just seeing that he's willing to just kick me out of the meeting during this. And we also had this leadership workshop that was on a Saturday, and you know, I was looking forward to going to it, like get to bond with all the members of the team that I don't usually get to see and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I got an email saying I don't have to go. And you know, when I talked to people afterwards, they said that they didn't get an email and they all went and they had a great time. Like, they had a lot of fun. So I was kind of left out on that, and I had no idea why that was the case.
Mm-hmm. You're taking things way too personally.
I understand that there may be some tension, but if you don't mind, we could go ahead and make the notes for if there's anything that you'd like to say for when we go ahead and move on to yours. And then we can go ahead and move forward from there, but let's go ahead and just have Dakota finish his statement.
Thank you.
And we'll go ahead and move on to you, Sam, okay? Thank you.
So I just think that I'm being ostracized now. Like, I'm being booted out of the groups things, and, you know, I feel like Sam has it out for me at this place, and I honestly don't think that's fair. I've been here for a good amount of time, and I think I've contributed a good amount for this business. I feel that I deserve more than I'm getting.
Okay. So then you were mentioning how you got the email about going to a conference, was it correct? Or it was a...
Well, we were all told about the meeting for the conference,
Meeting,
but
okay.
I got an email saying I didn't have to go to it.
Okay.
So, and apparently I was the only one who got this.
Okay.
So I don't know what that was about, honestly.
Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing, Dakota. And
Can I talk now? That'd be great.
Yes, Sam, you could go ahead and tell me what your position is.
Okay. I'm Sam Jenner. Not related to the other Jenners, the Kardashian Jenners. I'm 28 years old. I'm an assistant sales manager for the regional section of Time Clock, so I dictate like where the certain employees go to which branches of the organization throughout the country. I've been working there for 6 years. I earned an MBA through North Central's graduate school program. I'm here because apparently Dakota has filed a lawsuit alleging racial discrimination because I wanted to send him to the southwest corner of the U.S. when he's wanted to be in the northeast corner of the U.S. He wanted to be in that region because he has family over there. I didn't know this. I just heard it through the grapevine. He's never approached me of it like personally. I thought that things were fine because he was just talking to me like normal. And all of us has been like business discussions. We've not had any personal discussions about anything. So it just kind of really caught me off guard when all of a sudden I was hearing these rumors of this allegation that he was filing this lawsuit against me. And then on top of everything, like I've announced several times that I have an allergy to cologne and perfume and certain smells, and he always seems to wear this really strong cologne he's heard me say several times that I'm allergic to it. So the reason that I asked him to leave that meeting politely, and I was very apologetic about it, was because I'm allergic to it, and he knew that.
Okay.
And I explained the allergy, but he just left angrily instead, even though I explained it to him why I was asking him to leave the meeting.
Okay.
He's always just I'm like a very social person, and I'm very like energetic, and I like being around people. And I have a really like hard time like working with like the silent and like the silent type of people, and just Dakota's so quiet. But he's like hardworking and good at sales. Like he was right. Like I'm not gonna argue that. Like he's a very valuable member of the company. He's really good at his sales numbers are the best in the group in the organization. And that's why I had him skip the meeting, because the mandatory emotive sales training workshop, I didn't think he needed the training. So I didn't feel it was right to make Dakota attend the meeting and to learn the skills that he's already mastered. So I sent him an email. He would just skip it. Usually people, like when they say that they're going to have to skip a business meeting or a business outing, then they'd be happy about that, but they don't have to take time away from their family to go.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. I did it because I didn't think he needed the training to do that. So then all of a sudden I'm just hearing these racial discrimination charges that are being filed against me that I had no idea that was even about.
Was that shortly after the conference?
What?
The when you were notified of the lawsuit?
No, I was notified of that before, and then
Okay.
all of these things just like started happening either, but we had never like talked about it. It had all just been like personal, like it hadn't been personal, it had all been business conversations.
Okay. Okay. Just gonna make a last couple notes just to make sure that I have all this written down. But thank you, Sam, for sharing your position. So let's go ahead, and I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of repeat just to make sure that I have everything said correctly between the both of you. Dakota, you were, have been an employee for about 2 years now at Time Clock, and you're not really sure why there is an issue with what's going on, but you are asked to go, or you were asked to go to the other location out on the East Coast, or to the Southwest Coast, excuse me, territory, but you don't want to go because you'd rather go out to the east, right?
Northeast.
Or the Northeast.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's just been some kind of issues with going to meetings, or not going to meetings, I should say, and she
I'm getting
just
the
had-
notion that Sam doesn't like me. Like that Sam has something against me for some reason.
Okay. And then Sam do you feel that there is some sort of personal issue with Dakota?
No, I think that I'm doing things for a reason, but he's so quiet and doesn't ask any questions that, I mean, he's not getting the true meaning. He's taking everything so negatively, and it's really like the reason I didn't send him to the conference was because I thought that he was too good of an employee and he didn't need to be there. And the reason I asked him to leave the room was because I have a cologne allergy.
I don't wear cologne.
Yeah, you
Well,
do.
No, I don't wear cologne.
Okay.
I mean, there's this cream that I've been using. It's like an ointment, but I've had this rash. I just haven't really, it doesn't have an odor to it, so I don't think that was an issue. I don't wear cologne though.
Okay. So let's.
I don't know how to respond to that. It just doesn't say anything. It just says.
She's making me uncomfortable.
It's okay. Well, let's just remember back from what I said in the beginning is that if you guys have any comments or anything that you'd like to go ahead and include, then we can go ahead and jot them down, and then I will go ahead and initiate when it is the next party's person to make a
Can I just say
comment.
one thing though?
Yes.
With regards to this cologne thing,
Fine.
Yes.
I
Sam?
explained it to you as to why I was having you leave the meeting. You didn't say anything to me. You didn't say that you didn't wear cologne. You just left.
You just gave this disgusted look at me and told me to leave. Like,
I told you though. I told you why. Like I told you why I had you leave the room. I explained it to you, and then you
What
didn't
made-
say anything. You didn't say, "Oh, I'm not wearing cologne."
well, there was no odor coming from me. Why would you think that it was me of all people that has it? Just because I'm South American doesn't mean anything. Like
I didn't say that it was because you were South American.
Well, obviously the guy with the darker skin is gonna be accused of having all his cologne on just because he's got like darker skin.
It's not necessarily. Why would I have made that connection?
Okay.
Why didn't you make
Okay.
anyone else leave?
Okay. So let's go ahead, and I think a good time would be to go ahead and break up into the caucus with the two of you.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and start off with Dakota first, and then
Good, I can't be in the room with him.
and then Sam. We will go ahead and move towards you. Okay, Dakota. So now that we are in the caucus part of the mediation, just go ahead and tell me exactly what is, if there's anything else that you mentioned before that you would like to go ahead and talk about during this part, or this process.
Well,
Or
I
this part.
don't understand why she needs to accuse me of being the one that's causing this allergic reaction, because my rash stuff isn't really a factor. Like, it's not, it doesn't smell that strongly. Obviously, if Sam's allergic to cologne, that can't be me because I don't wear cologne. It's just my stuff that I'm using for my rash that I have right now. And of course, I'm not going to say that in the middle of a meeting because it's kind of embarrassing.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even with, like, these racial things, I think the biggest part is with the Southwest Territory thing. Like, just because I look like I'm primarily from Central America doesn't mean I'm best fit for the Southwest Territory.
Mhm.
I mean, I want to go to the Northeast Territory because I have family out there. My dad was from Vermont. Like, that's kind of like my favorite part about it. I like going
Yeah.
out there with the seafood, the old brick buildings. Like it feels like home.
Yeah.
And I want to be out near family more. And I'm a student, and I'm looking for graduate school. I want to do more with writing, so I want to get my PhD. And
Okay.
the better schools are out from the Northeast. I think it's pointless having to be all the way in the Southwest Territory if my schools are going to be out there. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to keep my job. How am I going
Right.
to be able to afford it?
Right. Now, have you talked to Sam about wanting to get further education or go for your PhD at all in that area?
Sam doesn't really seem like that person that'd be interested in that.
Okay. And do you just feel that it's just because do you feel comfortable even bringing that up?
Well, I don't really feel comfortable with someone if they're having like these racist thoughts and stuff. Like I don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable having someone that's not going to be respecting me for all my accomplishments that I do. Like Sam's saying right now, oh yeah, totally good at what he does, but I'm not seeing that like through any rewards. Like I don't get why I couldn't get that location then if I really was that good at my job.
Right.
So I think that I'm not being acknowledged as someone that's a good partner in this company. How can I expect to talk to someone if they can't even properly acknowledge me?
Right, yeah. Would you say that have any other coworkers have noticed anything about this, or has anybody at all, I guess, or talked to you about it?
Most of the coworkers are new, like they were going through the training, so I don't really know too many of them, and that was kind of why I wanted to go through that training, because it was more like a bonding thing. Like I wanted to be able to make a better connection with these other people, but I didn't get that opportunity. I understand that Sam said I didn't need it because I didn't have the training, but I mean, I feel like by doing that, I'm excluded from the rest of the group then. I don't think that's fair. I don't know, I wish he explained that better to me.
Yeah, definitely. So do you wish that she would treat you as if you were just like every other employee with like being a new employee, or even including you and everything that's...
I'm thinking of group inclusion. I want to be acknowledged within the group. Like, I want to be part of the group, but I mean, if I'm going to be excluded from that, group meetings and stuff, like, it just doesn't make sense.
Right, definitely. Now, Sam has mentioned previously about how she said that there's not a lot of or anything is really said during the meetings when you are present. Do you feel that that's true at all, or?
I've never been a person that gets like up in front of people. Like, I'm part of the marketing. I'm really good with my writing style, so I usually communicate with people through emails. I'm just more introverted in that regard. It's my strong suit. So getting like face to face, it's harder.
Mm-hmm.
Sam's kind of just like in your face, like let's talk about everything. And I think that's just overwhelming.
So do you think that it would be appropriate to, whenever things do need to be discussed, do you feel that it would be appropriate to set up like time for meetings and everything, you two individually?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I think that's a little too excessive, like
Okay.
me and Sam time.
Okay. So what would you like to see come out of today from this mediation?
Honestly, I'd like to get in the Northeast region, and that's very important to me. I mean, honestly, I didn't even want to do this lawsuit. The only reason I brought this stuff up is because I'm finally getting that attention that I deserve, to be acknowledged as a good sales rep, and I can get like some sort of compensation on this. I can get this location, get something out of it, promotion. Like, I just feel that I'm not getting what I'm entitled to, and I don't think that's fair because I've worked my ass off for this company.
Yeah, you've been working for, I mean, you've only been working for a couple years, but it seems that you've been putting in a lot of work into your position and how far you've come with it.
For a person being there for only 2 years, yeah, I've been top of their sales for a while, and I got nothing to show for it. They haven't given me anything for that appreciation.
Right. So besides not getting this change to the Northeast region, was there any other compensation at all? Like, was there, if you were moved to the Southwest Territory, were you going to be compensated in some way, or if for some reason that you do get moved out that way, would you like to be, is there any other interest possibly?
Southwest and Northeast are basically the same exact compensation to my knowledge, but I need to go to the Northeast. Like, there's no other
Okay.
option. I need it for my school. My grandfather's out there. He's been really sick.
Okay,
I need to be out there so I can see him as much as he can before he passes.
okay,
So everything's just out there. It's home. It's where my grandfather is. It's where my school is. It's just, that's the place that I need to go. It's that or nothing.
yeah, okay. Makes
Otherwise,
sense.
I really need to go through this lawsuit, which I really honestly don't want to do.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm trying to think if there's possibly anything else that we could go ahead and maybe look at. So basically, just from what it sounds like, is you just really want to go to the Northeast region. If Sam does not agree upon that, then it sounds like you're going to move this lawsuit forward.
Yeah.
Is it really about the racial discrimination?
I mean, part of it, why would he just decide you're going to Southwest Territory?
Mhm.
Where do you, like, if I make a request, I work hard, obviously you want someone to go where they're going to be comfortable going to, instead of you just saying, no, you go here.
Mhm.
I think that there's got to be something else to that, like, why does it have to be Southwest, honestly?
Right,
That makes no sense to me.
right, yeah, I understand. Okay, so then, from everything that has been discussed throughout our one-on-one, is there anything at all that you wish for me not to say when we come back to a group, or is there anything that you want to say, or maybe you want to start off with at all?
I don't know. I guess it's okay to share this stuff.
Okay. Would you like me to go ahead and make the introduction for coming back together and everything about it? Or did you want to go ahead and, it's up to you.
I want to see where Sam has to come from for this,
Okay.
because I don't want to give up this chance. Like, I don't want them knowing about the false lawsuit. Like, I need to keep that in my back pocket, so it's
Yeah.
something that I'd like to keep. But I want to hear what Sam has to say, but I don't want to share that with them because otherwise I have no case. I have nothing that I can do.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. If you could, we could just go out the doors over here, and then we'll go ahead and have Sam come on in, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Sam. Thank you for patiently waiting. Okay, so then let's go ahead and start off with if there's anything that was not said, or if there's any other information you'd like to go ahead and share during our one-on-one time, then you can go ahead and okay, let's go ahead and start back with saying anything that you wish to share. Anything else?
So, like, the company that I work for, Time Clock, makes time clocks for, like specialized, like, professional uses. So, like, surgical rooms, employee, like, check-in clocks, classrooms, like, intercom systems, stuff like that. So not just like your everyday clock, that it has, like, special, so, like, play clocks and sports and stuff. And so, like, one of the biggest areas of the country that's, like, growing in schools right now is, like, the Southwest and the Arizona area, because there's such an influx of people coming in from South America. And I really, like, I did know that Dakota speaks Spanish because I did know obviously that he is Hispanic. So I knew that he spoke Spanish, and so I assigned him to the Southwest Territory because I thought that's because he's such a good sales rep, and because he's so good with communication with people, and that his sales are so good, that I thought that his like talent with that, and the fact that he speaks Spanish is another asset that would make him better qualified to work in the Southwest region of the country. I don't think it was discrimination in the fact that like there's an area of a Spanish-speaking demographic, so I wasn't discriminating against him or like picking on him. I just thought that his skills would be. I just thought that his skills would be better like used out in the Southwest Territory because there's a big influx of newer school districts there with a large Spanish-speaking demographic. I don't really get along with him, and I don't really like him, but he's a valuable member of the team. So.
Now, what is it exactly that you don't really like much about him?
I just think that he's really quiet, and he doesn't say much, and he's very, like, he's a strong-willed person, but he's also doesn't express his opinion. I'm a very, like, social talker and social person, and he doesn't really... Like, I can tell he gets angry, but he doesn't say anything about it. Like, he doesn't like, confront, he's very passive-aggressive. He doesn't, like, say anything about it, so.
Okay. Do you feel that even though he is, would you say that he's more, like, introverted kind of person?
Yeah.
Okay, so even though he has those introvert characteristics, do you feel that he still contributes a lot to the team? Or
Yeah,
do you
I do. I think that he's a very valuable member of the company, and I'd be willing to do something to keep him there. I mean, I don't want to lose him as an employee.
You're just not a big fan of his.
No, and that doesn't mean I have to. I mean, just because he works for my company doesn't mean I have to like him. I have to treat him with respect, and I have been. I just think he hasn't been, like, expressing his opinion towards me and taking things the wrong way because he doesn't ask me what's wrong. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's just assuming that I'm out to get him, and I'm really not. I didn't send him to the conference not because I didn't want him to be there. It's just because I didn't think he needed to be because I thought he was too skilled to attend a workshop or that training session. He's a hardworking person, and I'd hate to lose him because his sales numbers are the best in the group that I have.
Okay, so as mentioned before, you and when we were back in the group before, you were kind of disturbed with when he's present at the meetings. Like you said, he doesn't really. Not only does he not really say much during them, but also you were talking to him, or you were telling him to go ahead and, or you were telling him professionally to please go ahead and leave the room because of the odor or the smell in the room.
Cologne.
Yeah. Were you? Oh, and he mentioned before that it was some sort of rash that he has. That he has going on now. Were you aware of that?
No.
Okay. So it just seems that the smell of this
No, I just thought he was
medication that
wearing.
he's using.
It just seems that he was wearing a strong scent.
Okay.
And I explained to him before he left the room the reason why I asked him to leave the room, and he didn't say anything to me. He didn't say I'm not wearing cologne.
Okay.
He just left silently.
Okay.
So I had no idea that he didn't wear cologne.
Okay. Well, I mean, as he mentioned before, from when we were together, he was saying that it wasn't a cologne or something. It was just this cream or whatever he's using for this rash. So, to my understanding, that's probably what it was going on at that time. But so let me think. So yeah, you said that you were basically what it seems like is basic, or the all-around general, two main issues is the moving of the Southwest Territory is one big one, and then also just his contribution towards like the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, does he want to leave the company?
Once when we come back together, I mean, we could go ahead and, you could definitely go ahead and ask him that. And we can go ahead and see where that goes. But he was very open with me, shared a lot of different pieces of information and what he really wanted to come out of this process. So I will go ahead and ask you the same, is what would you like to see come out of today?
I mean, I don't want to see him leave. I mean, I'm mad at him for bringing up these alleged charges of racial discrimination because it's going to jeopardize my future promotions with the company.
Mm-hmm.
I worked like really hard to get evening classes, like and went to evening classes to get my MBA, so I could be like successful on the management track. But I feel like Dakota's like jeopardizing everything, so I just want this like done and over with. I'd be willing to give him like a small raise to keep him, but I feel like that could like cause tension between the other members of the company because he's not doing anything, like he's working the same job, and so I'm just giving him a raise just to keep him there wouldn't really be fair to them. But I mean, I'd be willing to give him a small one.
Okay.
And if I was like absolutely forced to keep him there, I would be willing to move him to the Northeast, but I just think that'd be a real waste of his talent because there's more opportunities for him in the Southwest, not just because of his language, but also because of like the great deal of action in that part of the country.
Okay. So it's so you said that you're willing to do the Northeast, but you would like
that would be the absolute
bottom line.
Bottom line. Like the last resort.
Okay.
To keep him at the company. Or I'd like to start with the raise.
Okay.
But I just feel like he would get more of an opportunity to express his talent at the Southwest part of the country. Not only just because of his language and that he can speak the language, but because of how good he is.
Has he shared with you that he does speak Spanish?
No. Well, yeah, I know that he does.
Okay. Okay. So is there anything you wish for me to not say when we get back to a group together, or is there anything that you do want me to say at all?
You didn't say any of it.
Okay. Would you like for me to kind of bring the conversation back together, or?
Sure.
Okay. Alrighty, I will go ahead and grab Dakota then, and then we will go ahead and move forward. Okay, thank you both again for taking the time to go ahead and meet one-on-one with me. So now that we are back as a group, if anybody would like to go ahead and start off by saying what they would like to see come out of today, or if there's anything that, some sort of like apology that would like to be stated, we could go ahead and do so. Or, yeah.
I want the Northeast assignment.
I think that your talents would be wasted there.
Why do you think that?
Because there's more business in the Southwest with all the school districts opening from all of the, like in Arizona and Texas, all of the influx in the creation of schools, not only from like the Native American schools, but also for the influx of immigrants from South America. And the additive that you speak Spanish, I think, would also come with your good sales talent.
See, I see where you're coming from with all those opportunities, but that kind of goes back to the whole idea of focusing on my ethnicity. My father's Caucasian from Vermont, so that doesn't define who I am. Technically, I was raised in Vermont at age 13, so I'm a lot more familiar with the Northeast region. I get that the Southwest is growing, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to go to higher school. I want higher education so that I can be a writer. So I need to go to the Northeast.
But there's so much, wouldn't you want the opportunity that can get you, like, wouldn't you want the place that would get you the most opportunities for more?
Those school systems are just industrial buildings. They're just not the right kind.
Okay, Dakota, do you see yourself sticking, I know you mentioned from our meeting that, like, you would like to go to school for your PhD, but do you see yourself sticking with time clock for a significant period of time? Because how long would this, how long would he be in the Southwest or the Northeast for? Would it
We
be
generally do about a year.
about a year?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Dakota, do you see yourself being in the Southwest for at least a year, or for 1 year, I should say, or?
No, because I've been out of school for 2 years now, working for Time Clock Incorporated, and I need this trip to the Northeast. I need it to look at my Ivy League schools out there. I also have family out there that I'd like to see.
Okay, and then as mentioned before, was there some sort of
Yeah.
need to take care of, like family situation, or is it just primarily?
Yeah, my grandfather's sick. He doesn't have much time left, so I'd like to spend more time with him. So he lives in the Northeast, and I want to see him more before he passes, and seeing the schools is just a plus.
Would you be willing if I stationed you in the Southwest if the company paid for trips out to the Northeast for you?
How many trips would I be able to get?
How many do you want?
I'd like to go out there as much as possible. So, and then go maybe once a week for a year, or as long as he's around.
Would once every 2 weeks be okay?
Can't quantify that. That's my grandfather's life. I don't know how much time I get left with them. I think it saves your company more money if I stay out in the Northeast, because I can benefit that business out there by increasing their stuff. And I also don't have to waste your money flying me out there back and forth. I think travel expenses will take a toll on me.
But there's more business out in the Southwest, so we'd be making more money if you worked out in the Southwest than you were in the Northeast. So we would have the money to spend on you to go back to the Northeast.
I'd really like to stay in the Northeast, be with my grandfather, look at my schools. If it's only for a year, I don't think it's going to be too much trouble for you.
Dakota, if this isn't, if this agreement of you wanting to go to the Northeast isn't settled today, are you gonna continue with this lawsuit?
Yes.
Or,
But it's not racial discrimination.
The fact that you're asking me to go to the Southwest Territory because...
It's not just because of your Spanish-speaking ability. It's also because there's the most business out there and you're the best representative that we have. So we're going to send you to the area of the country. It's just it's a bonus that you speak Spanish, that we're going to send you out there that makes you the perfect candidate because you have all of the qualifications.
Most of my interactions with people don't involve being in person with them. Most of them involve using email. So would there be any way that I could work in the Northeast location but still also manage the Southwest one via email?
I don't see why that would be a problem.
Okay.
But then, would you be willing to take trips out to the Southwest as necessary?
How often?
As necessary, because you never know when you're going to have to go out to the Southwest. I mean, obviously, if there's a dire situation with your grandfather and you have a funeral to go to or something like that, but
Okay.
I would say maybe once every few weeks at most.
Yeah.
to fly out to the south. So we're basically switching that scenario.
Okay. So
Work from the northeast, fly down to the southwest as necessary.
every 3 weeks, about 3 days.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so for the so you'd stay in the northeast region, but fly southwest is necessary for approximately every 3 weeks. Did we say?
Yeah, or as necessary.
And those expenses would come through the company for my transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And travel expenses are paid for. By time clock. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So while you're in the northwest or northeast region, you will fly out to the southwest as necessary or every 3 weeks, and travel expenses will be paid for by time clock. And while you are in the northeast region, you will be managing the southwest via email.
Yes.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So since we have come to that agreement, and now that that agreement has been made, you do not want to pursue, is the racism part still taking a big toll on it? Because as it was talked between the both of you, Dakota, Sam, you were mentioning on when the meetings are occurring, you feel that Dakota does not really contribute that much to them. There's not really much that is said. Do you kind of, yeah, do you kind of want to go further into that exactly?
I mean, no, it's just more like you're hardworking and you're very good at sales, but you're just very quiet. You don't have your opinion voiced very much, and I feel like you're assuming my negative intentions when they're really not. I didn't send you to the workshop because I felt like you were overqualified. I didn't think you needed to learn the skills that were being taught, and I asked you to leave the room because I had an allergy to cologne, and you said that you didn't wear cologne. But before you left, I explained to you the reason, and you didn't tell me that you weren't wearing any. You just left the room. So I feel like you're just kind of assuming and
I'm a
not
person-
asking questions.
I don't like confrontation. I only like to give information that actually is relevant to it. I felt that I was being put on the stand for that as if I was the only one that could have been there. I could have handled that better. So I do admit that, and I apologize. But I felt that for our training, that still should have been something that I should have been included in, or at least some sort of company bonding, because I haven't been able to meet any of the employees there really. So I kind of feel like I'm being left out because I had to leave that meeting and because of the training. I wish that I had a better explanation of why I was the only one who received the email not to go.
Okay, well, I could have explained that better then. I could have sent you an email saying that you don't have to go, but told you why.
Okay.
And then, in the same point, you could have told me that you weren't wearing cologne when I assumed that you were, which I shouldn't have.
It was one of those things that I don't think anyone would want to say, well, this is my rash cream. Honestly, so
It's okay. It's
she's
okay.
doing it again.
It's okay. It's okay. So, but do you guys feel that, Dakota, after having this discussion at the meeting, do you feel that, are you comfortable with contributing more to the meetings, or is there any other option maybe that we could go ahead and do, or go with that?
I mean, I'm not a person that voices my opinions. My personal motto when it comes to sales, it's not about being a loudmouth. I think it's about knowing your customer and your product really well and making a case that can't be ignored. I think that's something that I've stuck to since I started working on this business, and I'd like other people to know that. So if I could have some way of just like a chance to talk to people during the session. I mean, not leading it, because of course that's Sam's job, but I'd like to be able to sit down with Sam and maybe see if this is something that he agrees with to increase, so Sam could figure out what works best for the company if it's something that grows, because obviously the sales that I've done have shown a lot of improvement within the company. Why wouldn't it work for other people doing it then?
So do you feel that meeting one-on-one with Sam would be more beneficial, and then you guys can come to a meeting together with all the employees and then have discussions from there?
I think so, because Sam and I usually only discuss business. I think talking about myself is a sensitive subject. It's one of those things I just don't feel as comfortable doing in person. But sit me down and talk about business. I mean, of course, Sam has the background from North Central, but my background from Elmhurst also has a lot of benefits because it's both writing and marketing. So I know how it appeals to the people. He knows how the business works.
Can you stop calling me a he, please?
Sam, how do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Okay.
If he addresses me as a woman.
Okay, so you both agree
I would be
on-
willing to do this whole northeast, southwest deal that we made,
Yep.
only if he drops the charges of racial discrimination.
I can agree to that.
Because that could ruin my reputation when it really wasn't what I was doing.
That's fine.
So the charges will be dropped for racial discrimination.
Yes.
Okay. And we also made the agreement, or you guys both made the agreement on meeting one-on-one before coming together with all the employees as a whole, correct?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so then one thing that I do want to ask is, what would you say that an as necessary situation would be, Dakota, for having to fly, or I'm sorry, excuse me, for Sam, what would you say is like an as necessary basis for needing to fly out?
Well, I mean, obviously you have to have some personal interaction with your clients, so if you gain a new client, you have to go introduce yourself in person, or if there's another, anything that would require personal interaction with them. If they need to sign something, if he needs to go and introduce himself to a new person, if he needs to close a deal, if he needs to do something like that, then obviously going out there would be necessary.
I can either come out for that or do video messages with them too if it's an inconvenience during time with my grandfather.
Do you agree with that?
If they need to sign an actual physical documentation though,
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
then flying out would be necessary.
Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and just say out loud what the agreement is that we have come up with, just to make sure that I have everything correct, okay? I have here that Dakota will stay in the northeast region, but fly southwest as necessary or every 3 weeks, and the travel expenses will be paid by 10 o'clock. While he is in the northeast region, he will manage the southwest region via email, unless if there's any personal interaction that needs to be made, such as needing signatures of new contracts or closing contracts or introducing himself to new clients, is when he will be flight out to Southwest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. And for the meetings, there will be one-on-one meetings beforehand with the both of you, and then at the time when the time comes for meeting as a group with all the other employees, you guys will go ahead and meet at that time. Correct? And then since this agreement has been made about Dakota staying in the northeast region, the charges will be dropped for the racial discrimination.
Yes.
Is that all correct? Alrighty, well, thank you guys for contributing to this mediation. I congratulate you on making an agreement today. So if I could have both of you sign the agreement form down the bottom here with your signature and today's date, then we will be on our way.